Chapter 3. Vampires stood in their black capes all around me, and with old candles burning anywhere, and the rooms felt very hot. I made my way back into the entrance hall, where the air felt colder, and noticed a group of vampire children about me age standing near the bottom of the staircase. They're chatting excitedly. They're showing off on each other, zooming up into the air and catching each other and around the room. No flying indoors! The vampire doorman shouted at them, but no one listened. They were having too much fun. I stood back and watched for a while. They all looked very smart and neat, with polished shoes and hair and glistened in the candlelight. But then I noticed one of them who didn't look quite the same. She was sitting a little way away from a bottom step of the staircase and watching the other children wistfully. She didn't look happy or excited at all. I wonder what's the matter with that one is, I said to Pink Rabbit, pointing. He shrugged. Why don't you hop over to her, I said, and then I can follow you. Pink Rabbit blinked his button eyes and folded his arms across his chest. Oh, please, I said. I felt too shy to go over with her myself. Pink Rabbit sighed and began to hop over to while a little vampire girl was sitting, his little cape flapping out behind them. I hurried after him. Pink Rabbit, I said out loud. Where are you going? It's the wrong way to a balloon. Pink Rabbit turned around and stared at me, putting his hand on his lap and shaking his head. I felt my cheeks turn pink, but we were at the bottom of the stairs now, and very close to the vampire girl. The balloon, that way, she said, pointing. Thank you, I said, and made as if to walk away, but Pink Rabbit pulled at the bottom of my cape and stamped his foot. Is that a tutu? Asked the vampire girl, sitting in the peeping out from under my capes. Yes, I said, a ballet tutu. Oh, said the vampire girl, and funny look came on his face. I thought vampires didn't do ballet. We wouldn't, shouted a little vampire boy who was flying up into the air nearby and began to very smart loop-the-loops. Ballet is to a flowery from vampires. And said another girl who was sucking red juice on a fancy glass bottle with a straw. Too pink and fancy, said the boy. Too bright and sparkly, said another. Too fairish, too human. Oh, I said, and felt very, very glad that I hadn't decided to my ballet performance that night. I pulled my cape more tightly around me, hid my tutu, and sat down on the stairs next to the vampire girl. I'm Isadora, I said, and this is Pink Rabbit. What's your name? Araminta, said the girl. A waiter passed by us and held out a tray on the canapes. Tiny red spongly things on sticks. Oh, no thank you, said Araminta, and her face went green. I took one of the polite and put it down into the step next to me. Don't you like rat food? I asked, surprised. All vampires like rat food. I don't, said Araminta. And it looks very like you don't either. We've put it down on the steps. Oh, well, I said, wondering if I should tell her the truth or not. The other children was too busy laughing and flying about to listen. I learned to close the whispered in Esmeralda's ear. I'm not a full vampire. I'm half fairy. You're what? Cried the Araminta, jumping up, staring at me. Shh, I said, pulled her back down. Don't shout about that. Sorry, said Esmeralda, but I've never met another half vampire before. I'm half vampire too. You are? I said in surprise. Really? I said. Yes, says Esmeralda. My mom is a vampire, but my dad is a human. I have fangs, and I can fly, but I absolutely hate rat food, and I'm scared of dark. I hate rat food, I said excitedly. This is so great. I never met another half fairy vampire before. Where did you go to school? I've go to the human one, said Esmeralda. Me too. Esmeralda stared at me with happy, sparkling eyes, and I stared back. It felt so special to find someone else like me. I'm so glad you're here, says Esmeralda. I'm not used to being shorted by no many vampires. I've been too scared about doing my performance. I've been wronging that it's too human. What is it? I asked. A ballet show, says Esmeralda. I love ballet so much. My dad said I should just doing that makes me feel happy and not worried about anyone else thinks. But I'm here. I felt really scared that all the vampires will laugh at me. You shouldn't worry about it, I said. We should do it if it's what you wanted to do. I know, says Araminta. I'm really nervous. It will be fine, I said, putting her head on the knees. My mom told me that even the most famous dancers get nervous before to go to the stage. Being nervous makes you perform better. That makes me feel a bit better, said Araminta. Thank you, Isadora. What are you doing on the performance? Oh, I said, and felt my face turned red. How could I tell Araminta that I wasn't brave enough to go to the performance at all, especially not the one I really wanted to do. Are you doing a ballet show too? Asked Araminta. If that is why you're wearing a tutu, I've got mine once. Look. Well, I said, I'm going to be a ballet show, but I stared at Araminta's tutu and a teeny silvery bat scattered out all over the puffed back skirt. I thought about the advice that I had just given her. Suddenly, I felt very silly for not doing things I really wanted to do just because I was afraid of what people would think. Why couldn't I just be myself? I wanted to brave like Esmeralda. Yes, I said, I'm doing a ballet show. And I lifted my cape and showed Araminta my very special black glittering tutu. That's too great, said Esmeralda, hugging me. I wouldn't be the only one. Let's show all those vampires how elegant elegant of the Gothic ballet can be, I said. We smiled at each other, and then, as Araminta said, I've got an idea. Why don't we our show together? We could make twice, and amazing that way. Yes, I replied, feeling my heart sure. What a perfectly idea. We need to practice then, says Araminta, taking my hand and landing me in the quiet place behind the staircase and the entrance hall. Pink Rabbit bounced along behind. Let me see your dancing routine, said Araminta, and then I'll show you mine. Okay, I said. Come on, Pink Rabbit. You're it in too. I skirted out of my arms and pointed my foot, and I began to spin and twirl and leap. It felt so good that I started dancing again. I was good at my ballet. I should never have thought of doing anything else. Wow, said Araminta when I got finished. I love these fireworks. They're so pretty. And she began to dance, and I watched her transform from vampire humans into a graceful ballerina. And you have some great moves, I said. Can you teach me some of them? Of course, said Araminta. For the next hour, we practiced a new routine together, and it was the most fun I had ever in age. I can't wait to show my ballet teacher at home, I said at Araminta as we made our way back into the grand ballroom. It looked completely different in there now, with a rows of velvet chairs set up fancy in the stage. Vampires were beginning to take their seats all over the room. I could see my family sitting in the row near front. We'd better go in the sit down, I said Araminta. Yes, I said. I'll see you later.